Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you're listening to this podcast. Welcome to the 10 Golden Rules of Internet Marketing for Law Firms podcast. We've got a great guest today, Raquel Gomes from Stafi, and I'm just going to talk for 2 minutes about our live event. We've just released the information for TGR Live 2025, and if you are a regular listener to this podcast, you've heard some of the great recordings from 2024. We had Justin Lovely, the AI attorney, Bill Biggs, one of the best culture experts for law firms. And we had some great content around technology, of course, all kinds of stuff about internet marketing for law firms. And we're going to do it all again on March 10th and 11th, 2025. So go to 10 Golden Rules, check out the speaker lineup. We've got a great hotel. It's right on the ocean in Delray Beach. And we'd love to have you be a part of it March 10th and 11th, 2025. Anyways, without any further advertising or promotion, Raquel, welcome to the 10 Golden Rules podcast.
Thank you so much for having me here. It's a pleasure, Jay.
So we met up recently at a conference, and Raquel was and her team were telling me all about Stafi, which is a really, really awesome and extensive staffing organization for law firms. And look, the couple things that really matter in this space. One is everybody's having trouble hiring these days. And, costs are going crazy and, inflation and everything. And Raquel and her team can get you, attorneys and really experienced people who are near shore and save your firm a ton of money and get you awesome results and get people who really want to work. But
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell Raquel's story. I want her to tell us her story. So, first tell us a little bit about you and your background, and then tell us about how you founded the company.
Okay, awesome. So I was born and raised in the south of Brazil. I was the youngest of 5 siblings, daughter of an entrepreneur father and a mother who put her family first and career second. I studied psychology in Brazil, and I moved to the US to do an MBA in international business. And I started a career in large corporate America in the high-tech space as a sales rep. I climbed the corporate ladder and became a successful executive. Then I got pregnant, and I was traveling every week home, being at home only on weekends. And it's funny, I remember being at the door of the plane to check in and to board and lying about how pregnant I was. I was like about 8 months pregnant, still traveling. And I don't remember now what's the cutout date when you can still fly. I don't remember if it was like 4 or 5 months, but I remember I was such a workaholic that I was there and I was lying how pregnant I was in order to be able to travel and go to work. So I used to live in that mindset that I had to be a workaholic in order to be successful. And the thought of delegation wasn't part of my vocabulary. My dad was a workaholic, and he sacrificed a lot of his personal time and family time in the name of success. So I had that example at home. I got to my breaking point when my newborn daughter, Sarah, was born. She was 3 months old. And both myself and my husband, we had to go on a work trip. My husband also had a large VP role as in operations for large corporate America, and we didn't have anyone to leave our daughter with. And to my surprise, my boss was very disinterested. He simply ignored me. And that's when I knew that something had to change. Then I took a break, and right after the break, Stafi was born.
Congratulations, that's awesome. And so what was the insight? Like a lot of great successful companies solve a problem. Did you identify the problem or?
Yeah. So as the co-founder and CEO of Stafi, so Stafi was born to help law firm owners. And back then we didn't focus as much on law firms, but business owners to grow and scale their businesses without having to pay the price by sacrificing their lives. The service that we offer, they are tailored to law firm owners who have a hard time knowing where to find great talent. They don't know how to properly vet and screen someone. And oftentimes they rely on only one interview and they are left to luck. They also don't have the time or resources to properly onboard, coach, and train the new staff member, nor to provide ongoing mentoring and training. But the pain point for me was I was a workaholic. I had no balance in my life. And I thought that in order to be successful, I had to work nonstop. I had no balance. I didn't know how to delegate. I thought that I had to do everything myself. That's when I realized I went through a lot of self-development and inner work. And the pain point was I want business owners, and especially women, to be able to have everything that they want from life. A flourishing business, profitable business, but balance that time that they can do the things that they love, they enjoy, spend time with their family, be able to go on those vacations and things that are very hard for lawyers. Lawyers are one of the professions that work the hardest. So that was the main pain point that I wanted to solve.
That's fantastic. And we were both talking for a minute before this interview, and you were explaining that the benefits is like, save time, save money, do things that the workaholic lawyers shouldn't be doing anymore. And I said, oh my goodness, that sounds exactly like the book I'm reading, Dan Martell's Buy Back Your Time.
Yeah.
And that's basically the principle that you solved in the real world, which is, get folks to do the things that your time is much more valuable. And it's like so many law firms have figured out that they can get folks near shore, offshore, doing a lot of the legwork on cases, doing a lot of the paperwork, writing the draft of demands and medical chronologies and everything like that. So how much of it is actual legal work? How much are y'all sourcing the the other jobs like the legal assistants, paralegals, and even marketing and intake?
So we source paralegals, marketing, intake, all of that, executive assistants, project managers. The majority of the roles are probably the paralegals and the intakes. All of our paralegals, they're lawyers in their home country. They went to school for as many years as a U.S. attorney went to school for. They also have years of experience applying law in their home country. So what a lot of people don't know is that these are high-end professionals that we are supplying. And on top of that, there is this large vetting, screening process that goes into play. Only 1% of all of the applicants are hired. Those that are hired, they go through an in-house university, intensive training that they have to graduate with 90% or more to get them ready to work for a US-based law firm. And after we assign them, we have a whole coaching system, right? We're very boutique in that way. We support them day in and day out. We coach them to make sure that they're adding value to the law firm, but also they're getting continuous mentoring, continuous training, and we can talk about that all later, but we're very hands-on.
That's awesome. I love it. What's the basic math like? And a lot of times I hear this concept, which is you can hire one of the top attorneys graduating from, you can tell us which countries, but first give us the math. You can hire a graduate attorney who's top of their class. And they're maybe making how much money in US dollars in their home country as a lawyer, and how much more can they make working for a US firm as a paralegal in US dollars?
So the exact numbers, the service from an attorney's perspective, when you get a lawyer with years of experience applying the law, you're paying for $2,800 a month all in. So there's no employment tax, there's no benefits. They are fully vetted, screened, trained, and ready to go. And we do a perfect matching. Whenever we meet with the attorney, we have an initial strategy session where we go over all of the tasks that can be delegated within a law firm. We've identified 68 tasks that fall into 4 different areas of work. We divide the law firm into 4 different areas: marketing, client-facing, legal, and administrative. So we've built an in-house software platform where we take you through, and it's great because the majority of attorneys come to us saying, oh, I need another attorney, or I need a paralegal. And do you really, right? So we take that time, that 1 hour for them to think that through, do a deep dive, and we go over all of the tasks. And based on that, we define, okay, what's the perfect match for you? Not only from an experience, background, but also what personality, what soft skills this person needs to have to be successful in their role, to thrive, but also to stay. So for example, if you want someone who is client facing, it's very important that the person has a type of personality that thrives from human interaction, right? They have to be on the phone all day. They have to also be highly empathetic. That's very important because lawyers are in the business of helping people, helping others. So you want to hire someone who is an extension of your brand, who's going to represent you in the way that you would represent yourself. So that's why there's a very common mistake the lawyers do is like, anyone can answer the phones. That's a very, no, that's very, I take that very seriously, that you should be very careful about who you put to answer the phones, because that's the first impression that someone has with your brand, right? They're going to have an idea on how it will be to work with you. So you want to make sure that the person has the right skill sets for the role.
But the question was $2,800
Right.
to get a top graduate attorney with legal experience to work
Yeah.
as a paralegal, because they can't do law in your state. They didn't pass the bar. But they're an
Correct.
experienced lawyer doing your paralegal work. Right?
Correct. So for $2,800, you get a lawyer who's a paralegal, plus all of the support that we provide, the coaching that we provide. We have mindset coaches who are in-house psychologists who are working with them weekly to make sure that they are okay emotionally, mentally. They have a safe space to talk about anything that they need to elaborate on, because I'm a psychologist myself, and mental health is a priority to me, and I know how tight linked it is with productivity, how well you're feeling or not. We also have senior paralegal coaches that serve as escalation point, and also they mentor them, they train them, so that whenever they have questions and things like that, it doesn't go to the attorney. It's everything that we have in place is to save the attorney's time. We also have task coaches. They help the VAs with prioritizing time, with time management. They also help everyone put together mini manuals for the law firm, so that we're documenting processes, not only to ensure that that person can do their job well, day in and day out, but the attorney, whenever they want to hire more people, those processes are documented, because that's a pain point that small attorneys have. Processes are never documented, so we help them with that. We also have all sorts of coaches. We have IT support to make sure.
By the way, small attorneys and small digital agencies.
Right, everyone.
Actually, I'm joking, but we're running the EOS. You're familiar with the entrepreneurial operating system?
Yeah.
Yeah, to the book Traction. So we're using that EOS formula, and we've documented all of our processes in the past 24 months.
Yeah, and that's a living organism, right? You have to continue to change them because they keep evolving. So you're never done. It's a never-ending story. But back to the pricing. So for the paralegals, which are lawyers in their home countries, $2,800. If you want an intake or an executive assistant to do administrative tasks, or a marketing assistant, that's $2,600. If you want a marketing specialist, who, depending on what you need video editing or whatever, that's a little bit more. So it varies. But for a lawyer, it's $2,800.
That's great. And what countries are you predominantly sourcing from?
We don't, all over Latin America. We don't limit or discriminate countries. We focus on talent, so it's open to all of the countries. But the ones that we hire, the majority of our people from are probably Argentina, Brazil. Brazil is Portuguese speaking, so some lawyers want that.
The Brazilians are smarter, right? The
The
Brazilians are smarter.
I'm Brazilian, so I cannot say that.
I know. That's why I always joke that the Canadians are smart, good-looking, good hockey players, but I'm very biased.
Yeah,
because I'm originally Canadian.
I love hockey. I know. I saw that.
So that's awesome. So one of the questions I always like to ask everybody is, what's your why? The Simon Sinek TED Talk. What gets you up in the morning? What makes you really excited about the business today?
It's really to help law firm owners who struggle a lot with having joy and having time to create and having time to be the CEOs that they should be. They are the company, they are the owners, and to help them achieve that, give them the time back that they need in order to leave all these things that I just mentioned. It's really
And
my why.
is it as literal as getting them the right people very cost effectively that gives them that time back, or do you do some coaching on mental mindset and whatnot?
So I believe that most small law firm owners, they struggle with trusting and being in delegating. They don't have a team. They have a small team. Sometimes they're a solo, but they cannot hire all the infrastructure, put all the infrastructure in place to be able to leverage virtual staff from Latin America and grow their businesses exponentially. In order to do that, you need to have these coaches in place. You need to be able to check in with people. People feel lonely when they're working from home. You need to be able to check in. Are you okay? What's going on with your life? People need attention. Everyone needs attention, right? When you're in the office, you're chit-chatting, you're seeing people, you feel connected. So it's really important to set up a culture that sure that people are connected. If you want to leverage virtual talent, who are amazing talent that you can hire 3 for the price of 1, right? So it's hard for them to have that structure in place. And we have put that structure in place so that it's not that we are far beyond providing matching you with a great talent. We're providing all of the support in the back end to make sure that that person is okay, that person's learning, they're continuously being trained. We have a university, you have access to 80+ courses that you can sign them up anytime you want. We train them in sales, we train them in intake, we train them on everything you can possibly imagine. There's legal courses as well, depending on the type of law you work with.
Practice.
So that's a huge.
How do you develop all of that training content?
We have a great team. I have a great COO, and he has a lot of experience with e-learning. He comes from large corporate America. I think that our experience, we both come from large corporate America. We really learn how to grow and scale businesses. And that not only serves for us at Stafi, we're rapidly growing, but we help and coach our clients as well. We do everything we can for our clients. That's when you ask me my why. I'm passionate about my clients, not only increasing their revenue, but I'm passionate about them having joy every day. Hey, can you go for a walk? Can you go dancing? Can you do a gym class? Like, what are you doing for your mental health? Because I'm telling you, the moment that I started incorporating joy into my everyday life, I'm so much more creative. I'm so much more calm, at peace. I'm better with my team, and I'm just more happy. I'm happier. Sorry for my English.
Give me 3 quick, simple tips for that attorney who is stressed out, who doesn't have joy in their life.
Ooh, okay. It might sound a little woo-woo, but I would say don't grab your phone the first thing you do in the morning. Wake up, take some 5 deep breaths. You're still in bed. Take those 5 deep breaths. Then go look at yourself in the mirror and appreciate your awesomeness, not with critical eyes, but hey, you're here, you're human. All that you have achieved, no matter where you are, it's all thanks to you. I would say sometime in nature. I like to do like 10, 15, 20 minutes, depending on go and put my feet shoeless in the ground, in the grass, sit down. Don't be looking at your phone. I know sometimes you're anxious, sometimes you're doing a lot of things, but it's very important to slow down. But those are the things that bring joy to me. I do breathing exercises before I do personal training every day. So it all depends. Like when you get better at delegating, you free up your time so you can do that stuff. Guess what? 8 years ago, I couldn't do personal training every day, and I am. Now I do. Guess what? Years ago, I couldn't take month-long vacations in Europe. Now I do. So when you get smarter and you know how important it is to delegate as much as you possibly can, then you free up your time, and then I come up with new lines of businesses. I have these ideas, and I'm connected with my gut feelings, because you have to be in a state of mind to connect with your intuition too. And when you do, and you have a gut feeling, and I go after it, guess what? It's very successful. So all of these things are very important. That's what I want for all of my clients.
That sounds great. You're in Europe for a month vacation and you come up with a new line of business. Tell us one of those stories. What is that line of business and how did it come about? How did you execute it?
So we just launched in-person staffing as well. So we're helping law firms who need lawyers, attorneys, paralegals, but they want it to be US based because they need specific knowledge. You know, like a personal injury comes to us, hey, I need someone who has litigated for 5 years. I cannot find that in Latin America. Then I'll find it for you in the US. And the cool thing, so we brought someone to lead that department. She has 20 years of experience recruiting within the legal space. And the cool thing is that all of the vetting and the screening that we do for our virtual staff, we do psychological tests, those type of things we're also going to be doing when we recruit in person, which I know is a differentiator that other people are not doing. And we're even going to go one step. So we launched the service today. Okay. It's been in the works. It's been launched today. And what I was going to say is that we are going to provide the mental health and the wellness coaching. It's going to be available to all of these attorneys or paralegals that you hire from the US. They can also get that support because that's something our clients have come to us and said, hey, do you offer this for me or for my other staff? And unfortunately not. We offer all of that for our virtual staff that is working for you, but we're extending that to the in-person. It's not in-person, it's US-based staff. We're extending that service as well to them when you work with Stafi.
So the virtual staff was more grounded than the in-person staff. So now they want your help. Do you remember where those insights came? Like, was there a particular glass of Chianti or, you know?
I'm telling you, alcohol-free is the best. Alcohol-free is when I'm in a state of joy, in a state of, there's a name for it I can remember right now. When you're in the zone, you're just in peace, at calm. And then something happens in front of you and you're like, I was interviewing someone for a VP role, client success, to add people to our team. And, you know, I've had this idea before because I've had clients come to us and asking for, hey, I wish you did what you do for in-person staff because I love what you do. I love how you mentor the people, right? And then I'm like, you know what? I just made a decision on my own. You know what? How about we start a new department and you do this and this and that? We have 174 law firms that we can call, you know, they love talking to us and they need in-person staff. And I did that. I made a decision. I didn't consult my partner, but he loved it. He's like, that's amazing. You shoot from your hip.
I just thought, because you said you came up with these inspirations on vacation.
Yeah.
I thought you remember the moment. That's great. So, you know, you and I are in a unique situation where we work with a lot of attorneys and law firm owners, and we get a chance to see their operations. And a lot of times when I look from the outside in, it's easy to see some things that they could improve. What are some basic systems recommendations that you would say most law firms don't see because they're in the daily muck?
I think working on having a good intake process, it's something a lot of them lack. And I highly recommend that you put that in place. We help them when they work with us, but that's something I see. Also, can you
give me, you know, 3 or 4 things if your intake is not up to snuff? And we see it all the time and tell our clients, you know, you guys, we have a client right now. They had 51 leads last month and they only signed 2 or 3 cases. They should have signed 8 or 10. What are 3 or 4 things that they should put in place to improve intake?
It's a good question. I think one of them is don't hang up the phone. If that's a qualified lead, don't hang up the phone without having that person on schedule already. Whatever your next step is your next step, you need them to sign the document, send that document while you're on the phone, confirm it's there and get that signature. Is the next step getting payment for a consultation with the attorney? Get that done. Never, don't ever call back. That's a no-no. Like, the next step needs to be done during that phone call. I think that's number one. Let me think about another one. I think you need to have strategies to overcome objections, whatever the objections are. Maybe try to understand what is it they're trying to accomplish, what is their goal, what is important to them, and use that for whatever reason, whatever you need to achieve. Like, let's say is getting payment, work on that. Like, let's say, oh, they have a dream to become a US citizen. Nothing, how much would you pay for that? That's a dream. That, imagine your life, how would your life be if you had that? Isn't that priceless? We're only charging $300 for a consultation to change your life. Pakata, you get that.
Yeah, so sales strategies, that's great.
Have different strategies. I also would say, don't ever say, I'm gonna send a contract for you to sign. No, it's like a document, a facilitating is there's a name, I forgot now, but it's a facilitating document or something like that we use. I have that name here somewhere. Authorize the paperwork. So things like that you need to put in place, but I also have those questions. You need to know how to qualify a client that you want versus a client that you don't want, right? So have those questions, don't make it too long, and qualify them, and then get to the next step, and then overcome those objections.
That's great. I love it. Well, Raquel, we've done a great job. We got to the quick one-liners at the end. And I've been asking questions on this podcast for 15 years.
Hopefully I can answer.
Okay. You're with some famous people who've answered these questions over the years.
Okay.
I always joke that I interviewed Gary Vaynerchuk before he had a podcast, and he worked in his dad's wine store, and now he has one of the biggest social media podcasts in the world. And I interviewed Jason Calacanis when he was doing a startup, and he didn't have a podcast, and now he has the #1 podcast in the world.
Oh, wow.
So you're following famous footsteps. So
oh, look at that.
What apps or techniques do you use for personal productivity?
Okay. I don't use apps. I'm the type of person that I'm working, and when I'm not working, I'm really enjoying my time. I'm present with my daughter, with my husband. I'm present with myself when I'm by myself in nature, or doing breathing exercises, or reading a book. So I cannot recommend apps, but what I recommend is hire a virtual assistant. That's life-changing. I have 3 virtual assistants dedicated to me, and that is how I replicate myself. So that's a trick. You hire virtual assistants, they're good. They're gonna buy you so much time. That's my trick. And
I love it. I have my first full-time virtual assistant. I've had people, doing mail and work for me, scheduling for 10 years, but I have a full-time VA.
Okay.
How do I use that?
I'll have that.
And how do you recommend other people buy back their time?
Gosh, I use them for personal things. I use them for if they need to call my daughter's school, if they need to send a payment to my daughter's school, if they need to call my insurance company because they're not paying my medical bill. I recently, what was it? Oh, my roofer. They even fight for me. Like, I had someone come to my house and they charged me $190 and they did nothing. And that infuriates me. Okay. They came here to fix, because we have 2 bags from Sleep Number. I don't know if you know, it's like very high-end brand. Yeah. And we have those bags, but they're not working the remotes. And then we call this service. They come here, all they do is they inflate. I said, I cannot believe this. I cannot believe this. And then I trained them to fight for me. So I explained the situation, they fought for me, and they got the refund. So those are the types of things that infuriates you when you need people.
I love that. Don't make me mad. I'll sick all 3 of my VAs on you.
Exactly.
Okay, best business books.
So The Success Principles by Jack Canfield. I think it's an oldie, but very, very good. That's one I recommend.
Great. And blogs, podcasts, and YouTubes. What do you subscribe to? And when it hits your feed in the morning, you always listen to that one. Whatever you're doing, you switch over.
Honestly, I'm a bad person for you to ask me that, because usually I'm listening audibles or I'm reading a book. unless a good friend of mine, they recommend podcasting things that interest me, self-development, health and wellness. Like I listened to one about fasting, and now I started doing every other day I fast, and it's incredible.
Awesome.
It's the most incredible thing. I don't have aches and pains because I have Lyme disease. I used to have Lyme disease. I'm cured now, but
Great.
it's highly inflammatory. Lyme is very inflammatory. You have a lot of pains. I couldn't work out for a year. The fasting got me to the finish line of curing myself of Lyme, I would say.
Great.
I don't have any pains. I'm highly energetic. It's hard, but those are the things that interest me, and they send it to me here and there. I don't feel like I have time to, it's not my thing. So I don't watch YouTube. I barely watch
you
television.
And everybody listening will subscribe to the 10 Golden Rules of Internet Marketing for Law Firms podcast.
That for sure.
So wherever you're hearing this, do us a favor, and we have tons of great guests like Raquel. Just click subscribe on iTunes or Spotify, or if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. And it helps us get great guests too, because people look at how many subscribers we have. So thank you.
Oh yeah, and it's a phenomenal podcast.
Who's your NFL team or sports team? I know it's
you might want to delete all of this because I'm so boring. I don't have an NFL. I don't watch any games. I am a soccer fan. So my team is called Inter. Probably nobody here knows about my team. It's from the south of Brazil, where I'm from, Porto Alegre. And I don't watch many sports. I barely watch any TV. I feel like my time is either working or creating or enjoying life.
And what's a great introduction for you? Like if we're hearing this, we're thinking like, who's the person who can benefit from your company?
It's small law firm owners who are struggling with, who want more time to strategize, to grow their business, take their business to the next level, want more time to be able to go on vacations, who feel like they lack support, who are struggling with hiring, who have turnover, who are stressed, burnout. Those are the best introductions for us.
And where can people get in touch with you?
Well, you can go to our website, www.stafi, S-T-F-A-I.
A-F-I.
Say that wrong?
S-T-A-F-I.
S-T-A-F-I.cc.
.cc. Awesome. Raquel, this was great. Thank you so much. I learned a lot, and it was a lot of fun.
Thank you. I had fun too. Hope everybody has fun.
Thank you for listening to the 10 Golden Rules of Internet Marketing for Law Firms podcast. Please send questions and comments to podcast@10goldenrules.com. That is podcast@TENgoldenrules.com.